Hello and welcome to another XRay.Tech video. Today we're going to be talking about email parser by Zapier. So if you ever want to extract some data from your emails and put it into a spreadsheet or relay it into Slack or something that more people are looking at, this is the automation tutorial for you. So there's actually two different automations that we're going to cover today. One is going to relay the email that you want to parse from your inbox into email parser by Zapier. And then the second automation is actually going to parse the email and relay this information into Slack. Again, this email parser tutorial is going to be able to be used for a ton of different things, from web app notifications to purchase emails to whatever you want to extract from your email. But in this case, we're going to be using the error notifications by Zapier because we want to surface those into Slack for our whole team to see. So let's get into it. First step here is going to be creating a mailbox on email parser. So you might need to create an account if you haven't first. You can use your Zapier login to do so. And we just copied that big, long, weird email address that ends at robots.zapier.com. So it's a randomly generated alphanumeric code that we just copied to reutilize inside of the Zap. So our first step here is going to be a new email matching search. So when we have a new email that matches the type of subject line, sender that we're interested in, we're going to capture that email and then relay it to that sort of wonky looking email address that we just copied from the email parser. So in this case, our trigger is going to be based off of the subject line. And the subject line needs to say alert in those brackets. So when we continue on this, test this notification out, and end up getting our test data, you can see that you see the whole Zapier error message inside of the test data. You can switch that from B2C or whatever email that you want to use to base the rest of the automation off of. So our second step is also going to be a Gmail step, and it's going to be send email. So this is basically like an auto forward. You could do this in a lot of different ways. For this tutorial, we're just going to create this auto forward on Zapier so that you're aware of every time that triggers. Some things like Outlook, you might be able to set up a rule inside of Outlook to always forward certain things to a different address. But in this case, we're going to send it directly to that robot.zapier.com address, and we're going to copy over the identical body from the original email. And we're going to use the same subject line too. So after we test and review this, hoping for that green bar, there it is. And now we can go back into email parser, and you see that this email that we just forwarded actually shows up here. So what I'm doing now is highlighting the specific words that I want to define as a new variable. So that was the Zap title. And now this big long URL here, this is going to be the Zap link. So if we wanted to go directly to that Zap and actually test it and see what it looks like, we can do that. You'll notice the last thing I did here was rename this inbox. Instead of this random alphanumeric code, actually giving it a title of error tutorial. So you're going to want to update this in the first Zap that we created. You're going to want to change the sender from that alphanumeric code to error tutorial in this case. You do need to originally create the inbox using that alphanumeric code and send a first email to that inbox with that random inbox address. But after you create a template and after you get that first email inside of that email parser inbox, that's when you can rename the address and be able to make it more legible if you want to. Now, this is the second Zap that we're going to work on. So this is after we get a new email from email parser. That email is going to be parsed using the template that we just made. So when you go into the mailbox, you see all of these, mailboxes. There's that error tutorial that we renamed. We can test that trigger, and here it is. We see all of the variables that we extracted from that original message. And now we're gonna surface this in Slack. So now whenever we get an email that's an error alert from Zapier, that error alert is gonna get forwarded to the email parser, and then the email parser is going to parse it. And then upon actually parsing it, it's going to send that data right into Slack. So we have a static message, right? There's a possible error with one of our Zaps. We insert the Zap name, which was the variable that we assigned right there. And then we have the Zap link, which again is the variable right at the bottom here. Yep. So once we add that in, always like to name it something contextual, right? Errorbot tutorial. And of course the robot face as the bot icon. And we are not going to expand these links. Save me the space. Thank you. So when we continue here, now we're just going to test and review, and there you go. We got a green bar, and here it is right inside of Slack, the error message link, or the error link, and the Zap name that is there. So when I click on that link, I am taken directly to the automation that had the error. Let's pretend that the emails that you parsed was getting data that you didn't actually want. It was kind of the wrong stuff, right? You see here, integrations base isn't fully highlighted. That means that every email that we get, it could start to sway away from capturing the specific data points that we want. So we're actually gonna edit this template and update it so that over time, as we get more and more emails to parse, email parser by Zapier is going to get better at parsing the emails and get better at understanding the specific data points that you actually want to capture. So here I just saved an extra template just to sort of double down on the fact that the Zap title is right here. And after you create an additional template, this should improve the consistency of the extraction of the data that you are trying to parse out. So I hope this video has been helpful. We're really just scratching the surface with what you can do with Email Parser by Zapier. It is a wonderful tool and can just help you make sense of your inbox. If this video has been helpful, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And if there's anything else you'd like us to cover, just comment down below and we're happy to put it on the show. And as always, links and resources are in the description down below. Don't forget, keep the flow.